So in today's video, we're going to talk about whether or not the biggest property opening, the most expensive project in the history of Las Vegas, will open on time. That'll be Resorts World Las Vegas, my friends. Resorts World Las Vegas. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of the property, how it's taken 14 years for this thing to actually go from the Stardust all the way through Echelon Place, all the way through. Who knows what's going to happen? Panda bears were involved. Yes, beautiful panda bears were involved. And now we're at a place where, is that place even going to open on time? Is it even a good idea for it to open on time? We're going to talk about something with the money and what my sources are telling me on this. And it's all out there on the interwebs, at least on one website. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. It's a Vegas channel, so make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for the future notifications. Won't you join me tonight? If you turn on all notifications, you know when I go live on the strip tonight. It is Labor Day 2020. Analysts are saying that it won't be like normal Labor Days, but casinos are banking on the fact that it'll be better than it has been in the last few months since we opened up in June. If you guys want to support the channel, you guys can, of course, just head on over to the Facebook group. It's called Not Leaving Las Vegas. That's a free option for you. We also have YouTube channel memberships. You guys will get perks. It'll be good. You can click that by the subscribe button. It says join. Also, Patreon, if you guys want to do that route too. We'll do perks there too. You get the same perks at either one, but you guys can pick your poison on that. Also, vegasfacemask.com, the only two face masks you'll ever need. This is the one I gave to Richard Wilkes' son. Well, the wife gifted it to him. It's baseball season, so we have some neon baseballs. 2 for $25, but the commercials are over. And we are going to talk right now about Resorts World Las Vegas. See, Resorts World is an interesting property, and it's an interesting story. It's probably one of the most storied properties. See what I did there with that pun? In the history of Las Vegas, and for good reason. The property used to be the Stardust back in the day. Stardust was an iconic Vegas brand. To this day, it's an iconic Vegas brand. Of course, the Stardust property was the one featured in the movie Casino with Robert De Niro, and was Joe Pesci in that one. Also, you had Oscar Goodman himself appeared there. It was called the Tangiers there for, you know, copyright and lawsuit reasons, but, you know, that was part of the mobster days. Well, that closed in 2006. I remember 2006 when it closed, it was imploded, and in its place was going to be a mega casino called Echelon Place. Echelon Place was owned by Boyd Gaming, but that never happened. I remember when they were about 3 or 4 stories above ground. I was still working in timeshare way back then, and we were going to the Gold Coast to cash checks from the timeshare company. We would also eat at the Gold Coast at a little coffee shop they had with great locals deals. And when that was turning into a TGI Fridays and abruptly closed, I turned to the wife and I said, these guys are not building up the Echelon Place. She said, why? And I said, when you have to replace a very nice little locals only coffee shop with a chain restaurant, probably means that you're looking for money from outside sources, because those chain restaurants, they're an income source that's guaranteed, and they pay a lot more money than what us locals do for a trucker special at 2 in the morning. And that's exactly what happened. Overnight, the construction halted. It was a bad economy. This is around 2007, 2008. Shortly thereafter, of course, we had the massive meltdown, and things sat dormant. For a long time, actually, the project was sold to a company called Genting or Genting. Tell me in the comments below if I'm saying that right. And I can never say that one right. It's a Malaysian-based company, and yeah, all bets were off. It sat dormant forever and ever. They put up a real cool fence that showed all their locations. You might have heard of Resorts World if you've been to New York City, London. I believe they have these in the Bahamas as well. Of course, Manila, Philippines, where the wife is from. So it was cool to see that stuff, but it wasn't cool to see that the property wasn't being constructed. Several years ago, they came up and started the construction up again. They've had several dates that they said that they were going to open. The last date that they said they were going to open was actually this year, 2020, but that never came to pass either. Now they're looking at a 2021 summer opening. They have been absolutely blitzing the social medias with awesome, cool videos, like when they put up their sign, and they're very good at what they're doing, but are they going to actually open? There's been so many challenges. I reported right here on the channel months ago. They had some issues with C19 virus. They had a lot of positive cases, more than most construction sites, but they had more construction workers at any one given time than most construction sites. They've had lawsuits from the Wynn because while it was being built and they were putting the actual glass on the building, it sure looked an awful lot like the Wynn, almost indistinguishable. There were copyright disputes filed by the Wynn. They've been all over the ringer, up, down, left, right. They took $1 billion bond back in June of 2019, payable over 10 years. But the company doesn't look like they're in the kind of financial position they need to be in for Wall Street to be happy with them. So here we are today. It's September 6th, September 7th. I think it's September 7th. I know it's September 7th today, and it's 2020, and they're pegged to open. So what does that mean for the company? Well, you know, it means that even though they're blitzing social media, even though they're confident in their opening date, even though they really want to change that Asian theme, from what I've heard. I reported that on the channel too. They were changing their Asian theming over. I mean, this is a property at one point was going to have a panda bear on loan from somewhere in the lobby, old school Vegas style. That's no longer happening, by the way. Even though all that looks like it's on course, they got to get their money from Wall Street to operate on. Now, in a light of a global pandemic where the travel industry has been crippled to its knees like never before, where nobody knows what the future holds, are they going to be able to get that money so they can operate? We'll take a look at the financials. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not really sure how to read that stuff, but when I did look them up, it is public information. From what I could do the exchange rates on, it looked like they might have been at a place where going into 2019, after I did the exchange rate from Malaysian money where they're based, they had about $197 million operating cash on hand, okay? That's not a very good number, especially considering 2020 has been so rough right now. So you have to assume that during 2020, they blew through that cash, and now they're operating off of loans that they can get, trying to keep their existing properties open around the world. So what happens in 2020? Well, right now we have people saying that Vegas will take 3 full years to recover, 3 full years, until there is some kind of a vaccine. And trust me, the minute the vaccine comes out, you think the stock market doesn't make sense now, it's going to probably shoot up over the top. So I'm not giving you stock advice. That would be stupid of me because I don't play the market myself. But if there was one thing that you want to probably look into, if you have a stock person, look into travel and tourism in any way, shape, or form, especially when that vaccine comes out. Because if you hold anything that day, those kinds of stocks might just soar. But until that happens, what are the chances of them actually turning any kind of a profit when they open in 2021 in the summer, if they open? I mean, I was at the project just the other day. There's not much to be said about this place. It's pretty not finished, and they have a short amount of time. So let's assume they do finish. Let's say they get it off the ground, they open their doors. How long do they stay open, and how long are they willing to take a loss? It seems like a thing that I don't think is going to happen, and this is just my opinion right here. But if the Wall Street folks are saying, look, we don't want to support you at a losing stance when you open up the property, thousands of rooms, a 3,000 seat amphitheater, over the top world-class dining establishment, massive casino floor. I mean, the project is worth $4.1 billion. It's one of the biggest, it is the biggest project, the current biggest project in the history of Las Vegas. Even adjusted for inflation, the Cosmopolitan was somewhere around $4 billion when it opened up, and that was just because of a series of different decisions to build a super compact casino. The Cosmopolitan sits on 6 floors of parking under the ground, and no, this one is not like that. This is just an over-the-top opulent thing. They're going to have to turn a profit at some point. They're certainly probably maybe not going to do it in 2021. I'm just going to throw it out there. It's going to be hard for them to pay back who they owe and turn a profit in 2021. It's going to be next to impossible. So what are the options for them? Well, I mean, if you're in their shoes, what do? You could always just defer and not actually open the property. That might make sense. If you don't open the property, you're not losing anything. You can finish the property off. You can keep it closed. You can not lose money every single day that you operate. You can take a look at your friends and neighbors in Las Vegas in the market. See what the Wynn is doing. That's the closest luxury property to you. It also has a brand that's actually quite similar to yours. The Wynn, of course, focuses mainly on North American gamers, but they have a huge arm in the Asian market, and you have a huge arm in the Asian market, and you focus a little bit on gamers from overseas, and this is actually, in this case, North America. But if you don't have your overseas gamers, if you don't have your entertainment, if you don't have any of the conventions coming through for the massive convention space you built, if you don't have the foot traffic because people are not flocking to Las Vegas, if you don't have any of that stuff, then even the biggest grand opening social media blitz in the world, even if you hired, you know, every single politician on the aisle so everybody would be happy, and you get both guys on the left and the right, even if you have the biggest celebrities in the house, even if you have, you could have LeBron James come through there, might not matter very much because you still got to make your money back on it. So maybe they don't open, and that's kind of where I'm at on this. I can't foresee them actually wanting to open. It doesn't make a lot of sense for them to open, and I do want them to open up. Don't you want them to open up? Look, we're going to have so much infrastructure in the area once conventions come back. There's going to be people that are going to be taking the Elon Musk People Mover from the convention center right out to where the strip is, and that'll be across the street. And it's going to be a great project. But is it a project that Las Vegas needs right now? Or is it just going to be another thing that sinks the city a little more? See, here's the thing. When you're going to have all of these investment people looking at the city, you don't want to have the city capacity overall being low. You don't want to show empty rooms in Las Vegas under any way, shape, or form. If you have like 3,000-4,000 rooms, if not more, at the Echelon Place that are just at 50% capacity, well, that's going to be a big problem for everybody, not just Resorts World Las Vegas. So, just like the Park MGM doesn't want to open right now, I assume it's because there's too many rooms owned by one company around it. Just like how the Cromwell and the Rio are not open. Doesn't make sense to open up the Resorts World Las Vegas in summer 2021. It's a stretch goal for them to even finish the property. And if they do, is it worth their while? I guess that'll wait to be sea territory for us. But that's my thoughts on that. I thought I would update you on it. If they don't get that money, if they don't have loans to operate on, and they don't have operating capital, because they only had $197 million from what I could find, and if I'm wrong, please correct me below, then it doesn't make sense for them to open. We might have a beautiful property that nobody can actually access until analysts, if they're right, say 2023, 2024, when things actually fully come back. Those are my thoughts for today on Resorts World Las Vegas. I'm curious to know what you think about the property. And by the way, my name is Steven, and I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. I hope you guys would like, share, subscribe to the video, and hit that future bell for notifications. If you guys want to support us, we have Facebook. You guys can always do that. It's Not Leaving Las Vegas Facebook group. Free to join. No politics or advertising yourself. That's the only thing we ask. We also have VegasFaceMask.com. The only 2 face masks you'll ever need. There you go. Baseball season, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you guys can do something like that if you guys want to. 2 for $25. But we're going to be on the strip tonight. Hopefully you'll come and join us. See us in the chats. Bump into me, say hello. If you want to be on camera, you guys can always say hello to the folks back home too. Now's the time of the video though, where I have to say 3, 2, 1 and click. Hope you're all ready for this. So 3, 2, 1. Thanks for watching. It means a lot. You guys have been on a journey with me. So 3, 2, 1 and click.